Hytale just gave a huge presentation, showing off new mechanics, more footage than we've ever gotten before. I need to talk about it now, and if you haven't seen the presentation, I highly recommend you do that because there's good conversations that they give about development in Hytale and all that. I'm just going to be talking about the footage. So yeah, I won't waste your time. Let's get right into it. First of all, look at this amazing shot with a falcon flying through Zone 2, showing off mobs, terrain, structures, some of which I don't think we've ever seen before. And just this huge landscape. It looks so good. On our way through the canyon, we see some kind of crystal poking out of the side. That could be emerald or some kind of other, or maybe it's something specific to Hytale's lore. We don't know. We also see skeleton archers wearing some snazzy blue pants. I don't think we've ever seen that. We might have, and I've just forgotten, but I don't think we ever have. And then when we get out of the canyon, we can see one of those blue kind of mushroom things in the bottom right, and I thought that was just a Zone 1 thing, but I guess that's wrong. I actually have no idea what those could be. We've seen them over and over again, but I have no idea what they are. And then on the left side of the screen, there's green crystals or something. I can't make it out. That I also thought was just a Zone 1 thing, but I guess not. And I think that's it for what's new out of this screenshot, besides, this world generation and just the structures, the towers. But man, that looks so good. I'm so excited about this, man. There's so many shots in this presentation that are just landscape shots, and they all look so good. We'll get to it. Okay, next clip. Sorry guys, I'm going through this so fast. I'm just really excited about this. I'll try to explain everything in as much detail as I possibly can without skipping over anything. So this next clip, we get Kweebec, and we get a little baby one on the left. I'm not sure if we've ever seen that before. We might have, but I don't personally remember seeing it. There's nothing really else in this clip that's new. Same story with this next clip, but oh my god. Like I said before, landscape shots in this presentation look absolutely incredible. This is Zone 1 at its best, man. This next clip, however, has a few very small things. One is that this guy's eyes are new. That's just a new eye type. The woman in the middle actually goes through a face change. She has a little emote. She smiles, and her eyes go up and her mouth changes. So that's interesting. And she also has a new forwards wave emote. I think that's interesting that they have two different wave emotes. I actually wonder how many emotes they have in the game. I would be interested in seeing a lot more of those. Now, we get a couple more shots of stuff we've already seen that still look cool. I really like looking at all this stuff. But then we get another shot of the people we just saw before, and they're building a house, and I love this clip. I love just the clips of people playing Hytale. I love seeing the animations of people walking around and placing blocks. It's just so cool to me. It's so exciting. And I really like all the building blocks we see here too. Not many of them are new, but it's still really interesting to see them working with them. However, in the next clip, we see something undoubtedly and really excitingly new. We see a new weapon. Double daggers, and they show that a lot actually in this whole presentation. I think it's just one of the few weapons they've actually made since the last blog post. It looks like she has two different special attacks where she charges forward. One where she just dashes forward, and one where she leaps forward and attacks. We see more combat with this a whole lot in the presentation, like I said, so we can talk more about those clips. But for now, my analysis is that it looks like it's just supposed to be a weapon that has a lot of mobility and is supposed to jump around a whole lot. Like, that's the whole philosophy behind the weapon. And I like that a lot. It makes sense for double daggers. That's like a trope at this point, but I think it's really fun. I really like that every weapon has a different kind of style that you play with. We also get to see another weapon later on. That's a hammer, and we've seen that before, but I'll still talk about it. Side note though, before we move on from this clip, look at the animation on the pigtails. I wonder if that's physics based or if it's actually like hand animated for the walking animation and the falling animation. That's really cool. That really gives everything a huge amount of like fluidity, and it looks really good. And I also like seeing the alert pings above the goblins' heads when you come near them. I think that's interesting to see. Now the next clip, we see these two people back again peering over a cliffside, and we see some kind of creature down at the bottom wiggling around. I'm not sure what that is. I can't really see it in too much detail. It could just be a normal goblin that we've already seen before, but it's worth mentioning. And in the next clip, we see a sort of bone block being used as a fence, or a post of some sorts. I think that's interesting. I'm not sure we've ever seen that before. Now, if we just keep watching this clip, we get this really awesome shot going down into the cave and seeing a better look at these goblins that are wiggling around. I have no idea what that's about. Whatever, it's funny. They keep panning down, and we see a goblin sleeping on the ground. There's goblins just going about their business. I think that's really interesting. AI. I wonder what they're programmed to do at any given point. Like, why exactly is he sleeping on the ground right now and the others are walking around, you know? I'm really interested in that. And we actually see this goblin on the left go in for a swing a few feet away from that sleeping goblin, but he doesn't hit him. I wonder if that's just, or it probably is, some Hypixel developer morphed as a goblin playing around. That's interesting though. Now in the next shot, we get this really awesome view of players walking into a minigame portal, and we start out by seeing this one guy holding a single dagger, and I wonder how the double dagger thing actually works. Is it dual wielding? Is it like you craft two daggers together and it makes a double dagger item? I wonder how that works. We have no way of knowing. But in the next shot, we see them walking past a whole bunch of statues that look really good, by the way. They have icons in front of them that sort of correspond to existing Hypixel minigames. I don't actually play a lot, but I do recognize Paintball, The Walls, and Sky Wars. I'm not sure what that stored on the left is, or the one that's cut off on the very left is. But they walk through into this portal, and it looks different than what it did before. It has a watery look to it. They may have just replaced the existing portal there with water that just teleports you, or they may have changed the look of portals. It's an interesting change, and I'm indifferent to it. I don't really care which way it goes. I like the old one. I like the new one. But let's see what game they go into. There's a duel happening right here on a Skywars map between Double Daggers and Hammer over here. And wow, it is flashy. It looks so fun. We see a new attack from the Double Daggers where they jump into the air and dash towards the enemy. That might just be a variation of an existing attack where it just changes when you're in the air. Or it could just be a new attack entirely. But there is definitely a new attack when she uses a sort of super attack where she uses a frenzy of daggers and then one final blow. And there's like a blue glow to it. That's definitely a super of some sort. It looks like every weapon has a special attack like that, that glows blue, because in the next part we see a hammer, or the hammer guy, jumping up and smashing down, and he's glowing blue a little. I think just every weapon is going to have one special ability like that, at least, where they glow blue. Now I want everyone to see after the hammer guy smacks that girl away from him, and she's in the air, she uses her dagger dash attack to jump on the other side of him and get down to the ground really safely. That's like some fighting game stuff. That's awesome. That is so fun. I really, really, really want to get my hands on the combat. It looks so, so good. And that kind of stuff really gives an identity to each weapon, and that's so cool. I love that stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't do much for her because she gets knocked into the new fire particles that look really cool. Now, at this point in the presentation, they shift over to show the modding tools, and it looks really cool. First off, we see someone modifying the sky colors for every hour of the day in the grasslands. There's so much customization, it's crazy. On the left, we see different folders for modifying the weather in different biomes. We have drylands, firelands, grasslands, minigames, which is interesting that it has its own weather section just for minigames, and then Poisonlands, Skylands, and then Snowlands. That's really interesting that they have a Skylands and a Poisonlands. I really want to see those. Maybe we've already seen them, and we just haven't put a name to it yet. But it's really interesting, and I love seeing all this. And this window goes smaller, and we see it actually apply to the world in real time. It might just be a demonstration, but if it actually updates in real time when you're editing it in a separate program, that would be nuts. It could just be a window built into the game, but that's really cool. I really want to see that. But next, we see for sure a separate program, the Hytale Asset Editor. It's official. We can stop calling it the Hytale Model Maker. It is the Hytale Asset Editor. We see someone select a bowler hat texture for a hat they just put on a Chork and put it on. We see a lot of folders on the side for all kinds of things we can edit about the Chork. Like, look at all that AI stuff. Attitude, decision-making, reputation? What is all this? I want to see it. I want to know what every variable does when you change it. I need all of it. There's so much you can change, and there's so much modding capabilities. It is so cool. I'm so excited about that. That is the single most exciting thing about Hytale for me, is the modding stuff. Okay, next clip. We see a character building, or recoloring, I mean, a house, and we see what looks to be new blocks to me on the roof. It just looks like a sort of basic, concrete kind of block from Minecraft, or terracotta, almost. It's just a basic colored block, it seems, and she recolors it in creative mode. It's interesting to see all this. And I think these window shutters are new blocks. Not much to say on them, though. They're pretty basic. And then the next shot, we see people holding guns, walking past a Dinosaur with a sort of techie helmet on it. This is probably showing off modding capabilities. It definitely isn't in the base game. They might actually have the assets included with the base game, maybe, so people can add the futuristic weapons into their games just for fun, to learn the modding. But it's definitely not in the base game. I think they look really cool. That's definitely a new design on the AK. It's a weird thing to be saying about Hytale, that there's a new design on the AK. But this video is everything new about Hytale. Dang it! And yes, by the way, there are dirt slabs. Yep, dirt slabs, baby. That's what we needed. And then next, we get a better look at the room of the Goblin King standing on his pile of gold that we saw in a postcard earlier. This could be the same room, the same world, or it could just be a specific structure that spawns everywhere. That's more likely. But we get a better look at the sort of Goblin King that's sitting atop his throne, and look at his weapon. It's made of a stack of books with a metal spike through it. That's interesting. And there's flaming bottles strapped to his head. It's a really interesting design. I really love all the designs of the monsters in this game. And then moving on, we have a real quick clip of the hammer guy jumping down onto a platform. It's really simple. We do see a sort of cheer animation from the girl in the yellow jacket. And then we also get to see sort of animated versions of screenshots we've gotten before. Both of these castles we've seen before, just as screenshots and blog posts. It's interesting to see just a camera moving around them, seeing them from slightly different angles. I don't know, it seems like really stupid and weird to be excited about a screenshot being moved a little, but it's like seeing anything move in Hytale footage is immediately S tier, like knowledge, news. That's news. It's just I don't know. I'm really excited about all this, man. Now, this next clip is the single most exciting clip of this whole thing, I think. We get to see a whole new gameplay mechanic. First of all, we see people jumping around these pools of water. It's a really cool biome, by the way. And we actually see that everyone is able to jump up 2 blocks by default. 2 blocks. That's crazy. It seems so stupid to be excited about something dumb as this, but it's like, it's weird, it's interesting, it's different. It's just a whole different direction from Minecraft, It's really interesting, and I like it. I really like it. There's so much more mobility in Hytale, and we'll see that right now, actually. The most exciting thing, we see Pigtail Girl jump up a ledge and grab onto it and vault over it. That's crazy. We've never seen anything like that. She's not using a tool or anything, it's just her bare hands, so that implies everyone can do that. That is awesome. It looks like it just happens automatically with any kind of ledge, because she falls down and then I assume some kind of trigger happens when it hits the bottom of her, or the top of her hitbox. She grabs onto it, she climbs over it. I think that's so awesome. I wonder if there's going to be some kind of ledge sort of climbing thing. Like, can you hold on to a ledge instead of just immediately climbing up? I think that would be interesting to see. I'm gonna not get my hopes up for that. I'll be fine without it. That's just, man, that's such a cool feature that we've never seen anything like before. I think that's really interesting, and it's so crazy that all this new stuff is happening in a presentation that they announced like a day or two beforehand. And there was no fanfare for it. It's just at the very end of a League of Legends TFT, like Legends of Runeterra esports tournament. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah. So okay. So that's the whole presentation. There's one last shot that I'll play here. But man, that it's such an exciting presentation. We haven't gotten a drop of new things in 4 months. It's been like dead silent. We've been in the deepest slump the Hytale community's ever been in, and this is just, it might as well be a new trailer. Honestly, it's like a second trailer. It's just crazy. And man, if you guys haven't seen the video like yourself, if you haven't watched it, please go do. I did skip a couple shots where we just saw stuff we've already seen before, and there wasn't much to talk about. And there's all new music playing through the whole thing, and we see Noxy and Moo talk about the game. It's not just I've edited this video like it's just a big line of shots, but it's they're talking about the game. They're talking about their philosophy behind it. I do highly recommend everyone go check that out. There's so much exciting stuff here. And yes, maybe it's not healthy to get so hyped now because the game is still, 2 years off at least. But man, I just really want to talk about all this. It's so exciting. And thank you for listening to me talk about it. And I hope to talk to you about it more in the comments and in the various social media outlets that Hytale has. So thank you for joining me. Tell me what you think is the coolest thing about this. What do you always love seeing when it comes to new Hytale content? Do you like my personal favorite thing is seeing, I said it earlier, I think, but my personal favorite thing to see is players just running around doing things in Hytale. Like, I always love seeing new stuff, of course, like new biomes and mobs and stuff, but I really just love seeing people play the game, and that's why the combat stuff was so exciting. Man, okay. That'll be all for now. Thank you. And tell me what you think. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.